Hello everybody, how are you today? I hope you're doing well. So I'm just going to put a little heads up. This is a video where we will be using a naturally shed piece of foxtail that I found many years ago on the sidewalk outside my house. We actually feed the foxes, my partner and myself, and they must have had a bit of an argument over food or something, but I found a little piece of foxtail with a white tip. And I've had it ever since, and we are going to use that in our ASMR today. So if this is something you do not want to see, you can turn off now. But for everybody else, we're going to go back to the cottage in the woods of the woodland healer, remember, a few weeks ago. Okay, so just take a breath in from the earth and just breathe out any aches and pains back down to it. Now take a breath in from the air around you, breathe in deeply and breathe out any anxiety and any worry. Then take a third breath in from the waters surrounding our sacred lands and breathe out any sadness into the waters. And finally take a breath in from the sun, which we all circle around, and breathe out any anger or frustration. And then settle your breathing down to its natural rhythm, feeling a bit more calm and centered within your body, mind and spirit. Now, as we're standing in the woodland in front of this cottage, before we go anywhere, we are going to ground. I'm going to hold up a piece of petrified tree and run it completely down you. Maybe in your mind's eye you might want to reach out and touch some of the tree trunks that you stand within now. And just imagine that it is a cold and frosty night in the northern hemisphere, right near to Imbolc, the feast of Bridget Bride, the Irish goddess, and the Christian midwife to Mary. So it is. End of January, mid-February, that's when we change to equinox. So, and there is an old saying that when the feast of Bridget is past, the fox will not trust his tail to the ice. Meaning if the fox doesn't walk on the ice, we don't walk on the ice. Take a breath in as we light a candle. I want you to imagine that flame in the center of your being. And I want you to glow and to grow that flame, pushing it out from each side of you, pushing it out to the front and to the back of you, pushing it downwards and above you, all at the same time, pushing out any emotions that have been put upon you by others, anything that you do not need or want in your energy right now. Push that flame out as far as your aura reaches. And know that you are completely and divinely protected. by me as well. We're going to work with a little bit of Celtic Reiki here and with this little foxtail. But before we do anything, just imagine that the woodland healer now comes out of the house and stands on the veranda, beckons you over. Come on, they say, come on. And when you get there, he or she rattles to clear your aura. All around you. Shaking out, cleansing you. And then you breathe out, and as you walk over to the steps and you sit yourself down, and the healer brings out a very old woven blanket and wraps it around you. And then he or she goes back inside and then brings out a couple of crocks of scraps and food and maybe some meat that they've caught for them. And a saucer of water, and lays it down in the clearing in front of the healer's cottage. Overhead an owl or two goes twit to the male one calling the female one. And look up at the moon. What is the moon doing in your meditation? Is it full? Is it waxing or is it waning? If it is waning, you're going to be thinking about the things you want to get rid of. If it is growing, you are going to be thinking of the things you want to bring in. And if it is full, just bathe in its beautiful silvery light and let it light up the clearing in front of you. As you start to hear some strange screeches and calls and barks. Oh, they're coming, he or she says. They're coming, the healer says. And you will both sit down wrapped in your blankets as the foxy loxy, known as the Shinoch in Irish, comes with her kits, her cups. They tentatively dance in and out of the shadows. They come here every night, the healer says. And you watch as we just run this tail through you, just clearing any energy. The blessings of the cunning ones, as they are called, those who cleared the land of sheep. Duncan Ban McIntyre, an Irish lord and druid, loved the foxes because farming damaged the land, intensive animal farming. The mother lies there and lets her cubs eat before her. They play, they tumble, they bark, they scratch. Now you see them, now you don't, as they dance in and out of the shadows. And then they become a little bolder. And they start to come closer to you, quite interested and a little afraid. Some of the same emotions that us humans have when we encounter new things and new people. You hold out a piece of food in your hand and one of them takes it off you. And that's the ticket. The cubs or the kits, whatever you want to call them, now become bold. They come closer to you and you hold your hand out. And they sniff, tentatively at first. Slowly reach for some more food. You might click. And the food is taken. And then they start to sniff you. And they move around you, the tails brushing your face, moving and sliding through your fingers. They're just like your cat or your dog, a mixture of the two. And then they're rolling around and nudging and nestling up you. They have a musky smell. And then suddenly there are 3 of them all rolling around, one in your lap, playing and tussling, purring. You giggle, you can't help it. These cunning ones are so cute, so clever. The fox is thought to have diplomacy. The fox can move between the darkness and the light. Blink and you miss it. It is orange because the night sky is almost orange. Cunning and cleverness is part of their game. And they scavenge and they eat whatever they can find. Feel the silky smooth tail as it runs over your fingers and through them. Feel the rough fur. But these foxes and cubs are healthy because the healer feeds them. We have much to learn from this clever animal. It can live anywhere, right from the snowy Arctic foxes, on the moors and the hills and the mountains, in the forests, and now in England all throughout the towns. They'll steal shoes from your conservatory and play with them in your garden. They'll climb into your trash can and eat what they can find. They live in family units until the older ones can fend for themselves. And the fox pelt was very much prized in olden times because it was so warm in its colour. Many have been found in tombs all the way from Italy to Scotland. Strong in council, the Celts and Druids definitely admired them. And you now have this chance to play with these beautiful creatures, some of them darker than others, and mostly all of them have this white flash upon their tail. Neither here, neither there, Foxy Loxy is everywhere. Now one of them is completely in seventh heaven as you are scratching under its chin, just like you do your pet dog or cat. You found that spot, the legs shaking as the creature melts and enjoys this contact with the scary human people. But here they know you are friend and not foe. Then they scamper off and have some rough and tumble in front of you. And one of them yelps. And then they all disappear off. Let's draw the energy of some of the trees, the code, denoting all of the trees in Celtic Reiki of the grove. The earlim, the fir tree or the pine. Elim, Elim, Elim. The hazel, the call. And for the fox who lives by the lake, the pond, the river or the sea, the reed. Yes, my little ginger dog over there who looks like a fox. The seagulls dive at him because they think he's a fox. The reed. Neither here, neither there. Ooh, something sliding someone's ear. You sigh. What an amazing experience. And the healer goes out to collect the platters that leaves the water bowl. And when he or she comes back, They say, look, they've left a gift for you, a little bit of fox fur to take home and put in your medicine bag or your crane bag. You brush it on your face. Oh, it's so soft. And you carefully place it into your pocket. The healer then thanks you for coming and tells you to come back any night you want. The moon is right overhead now, shining her light down on whatever phase she is. And you walk back into the trees, feeling your roots growing out of your feet. Your heart is gladdened and you are just bowled over by this amazing natural experience. You take a breath in and you ground, and then the scene fades away. Take a breath in, wiggle your fingers and your toes, and bring yourself back into the room, knowing you can return to the Woods Healer's cottage whenever you wish. Bye bye now.